Hey, friends. Welcome back to Grow My Business. I'm your host, Lindsay Fletcher. I'm your cheerleader, business coach, and accountability buddy. I teach you how to remove the distractions, focus on what works, and tighten up those sales and marketing strategies. If you're new here, I'm so glad that you're checking out this show. Thanks so much for stopping by. And I hope you'll grab some coffee and stick around. If you've been listening to this show for a while now, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and hitting play each week. This episode is a follow-up episode to number 61. You're welcome to hit pause and go back and listen to those details, but I will definitely give the Cliff Notes version recapping 61 and give you an update. So in mid-July, I know we're at the end of July. This is July 31st episode. And back in a couple weeks ago in mid-July, my family and I went on a week-long trip and visited the Grand Tetons and Yellowstone National Park. And we had very, very little cell service. And while I came back physically tired from camping, hiking, and just being outdoors for a straight week, I felt refreshed at the soul level. And I knew that I needed to do a follow-up episode on cell phone use and having social media on your phone. So I talked about this back in episode 61, and I want to revisit social media as a business owner and wife, mom, daughter, sister, friend, and all of the other hats and, roles that I play in my life, right? So back in December of 2024, I heard the Lord telling me to remove social media from my phone. Honestly, I think he'd been telling me or asking me to do this for about a year, but being the stubborn person that I am, I resisted and I kept scrolling and I tried to negotiate, and I'll just leave Instagram on my phone, or I'll only have TikTok, or I'll just have Facebook Messenger. And as I talked about in episode 61, I was addicted, like literal addiction status to my phone and to social media. Ultimately, I know that God's plan is better than mine. So in mid to late December, I finally agreed and I deleted social media off of my phone. All of the apps, every single one of them, they are gone. Yes, I still have social media accounts, and yes, I still log in, but now I do it from my computer, from my laptop only. And today I am well over 7 months sober, and meaning being sober from social media being on my phone, since I removed all of that. And I don't say that lightly. I was literally addicted to scrolling. And if you were to hand me your phone with Instagram on it, I would immediately open it and start scrolling without even knowing what I was doing. Okay, so fast forward 7 months, and I don't know if you've heard this yet or not, but Mel Robbins recently had a podcast episode and she talked about social media, scrolling, and phone use. And I'm wondering if you have heard it. And if you have not, I'm going to link that episode maybe in the show notes if I can figure out how to do that. It is astonishingly horrific. A researcher from NYU named Dr. Adam Alter, I think is how you say his name, he recently published a study that the average person will spend 20 years, y'all, 20 years of their life staring at their phone. And this was all I needed to hear to do another episode on this topic. And I will shout this from the rooftops for the rest of my life. We have to wake up. We are wasting so much time scrolling, and we are not living enough. I was addicted to the dopamine hits and zoning out while scrolling the social media apps that were on my phone, and it was impacting my mental health. My anxiety levels were through the roof from the overload of information, comparison, and the quote-unquote research that I kept telling myself I was doing for our businesses. Nope, that's not what I was doing. I was feeding a dopamine hit addiction, and it was impacting my relationships. And thankfully, I didn't completely lose any relationships, but I caught myself picking up my phone mid-conversation, opening the social media apps out of habit, and scrolling in the middle of a conversation with people that I loved. No lies. That is seriously what I was doing. And when I caught myself doing that the last time, I started asking myself some questions, and I was very serious about answering these questions. So if you want that list of questions, go back to episode 61. But the moral of the story is that having social media on my phone was not a benefit to our family. It wasn't a benefit to my husband, my kids, or our businesses. In fact, they were actually negatively impacting our businesses because I was feeling burned out from trying to show up in all of those places all of the time and not seeing any results whatsoever. I thought if I removed them from my phone that I would miss out on things, right? But I wasn't missing out on anything because I didn't have those apps on my phone. It wasn't bringing me joy. It wasn't bringing us clients. And the ROI was abysmal at best. Having social media on my phone wasn't building my business in any way, shape, or form, despite me lying to myself and telling myself that it was. So in light of this recent study, and now knowing that the average person wastes 20 years of their life scrolling, I just need to ask you, does that change anything for you? For me, it confirms what I already know. What started out as a month-long obedience experiment to God turned into a lifestyle change and a massive upgrade in my life and my business and my peace of mind. So I'd like to share with you what's really happened since I removed it. And I'm going to be real. There are some things that I'm going to share that I kind of miss, right? But overall, my relationships are better. I'm present. Eye contact is back. I'm no longer multitasking in intimacy with other things. I am more focused. My brain isn't trying to multitask through dopamine landmines. I'm able to do deep, focused work and actually finish things that I start and not pick up my phone in the middle of it and look up 3 hours later, right? I mean, I was doing that. I am less stressed and way less anxious. I'm sleeping better, I'm breathing easier, and I'm not comparing myself, my family, or my businesses to others who are 15 chapters ahead of where we are in our businesses constantly. I'm not taking advice from people who are not in the same stages or just ahead of me in business. Emotional regulation is easier because my nervous system isn't shot by the continuous dopamine hits. Y'all, that's a real thing. My kids that have noticed that I'm calmer, and I would say that I'm more proactive and less reactive to their big feelings and their reactions to things. And maybe most importantly for this podcast, both of our businesses have grown. Not having social media on my phone has allowed me to be more focused and more intentional in our businesses. I have more coaching and consulting spots filled. The beta round of my sales course sold out. And I've had more time to find more speaking engagements. And I have a focused, sustained growth strategy, all because I have the time and the mental capacity to build more relationships. I've had more clarity to strategize, to pitch, to serve well, to understand what my clients need. And I have the capacity to deal with problems as they arise and not want to immediately quit like I used to because I was burned out. All because I stopped scrolling and let my brain rest. I don't always know where my phone is, and that is hilarious to me because if you had talked to me 10 months ago, my phone would have been in my hand. No matter what I was doing, no matter where I was going, my phone was in my hand. My family is so much happier. They feel and see the difference in me. I'm back for my kids and for my husband. Our marriage is way better than it's ever been. And it's always been really pretty good. I mean, we've always had a great relationship, but it's better than it's ever been. And here's the kicker. I've gained no less than 20 hours per week back. And if you're thinking, holy cow, Lindsay, 20 hours? Yes, I know. And I'm embarrassed for me too. But I fully believe that this part of my story needs to be told because it's part of my purpose, which is challenging myself and all of you to evaluate on a regular basis what is working and what is not working, and to do more of what is and less of what isn't. I'm using that time to get things done. And everyone in my house is less stressed because mama is able to get stuff done that matters, and I have time to create, serve, and be present with my family and my clients. So let me ask you, What would you do in your life and if you're in your business? What would that look like if you had an extra 10 to 20 hours per week? What would it look like if you got 20 years of your life back? And what, or maybe even who, are you sacrificing to keep those apps on your phone? Let me say that last one again. What or who are you sacrificing to keep those apps on your phone? Here's what I don't miss: the pressure to show up consistently, constantly feeling like I need to live my life on social media and feeling like I'm on a social media hamster wheel, exhausted and burned out with no way off. And I don't miss the random anger spiral after reading too many comments of just the mean people out there that say mean things because they're behind a keyboard and would never say that to your face. And the 1.7 million just check moments every day where I pick up my phone, I open social media and realize, oh my God, I've checked this already. There's nothing new on here, right? Now, I keep it real on this show. So there are a few things that I maybe sort of kind of miss. I miss feeling a little, I a little bit miss feeling like I'm in the loop with loved ones because I'm like the only person I know that doesn't really post on social media personally or professionally. And I know that a lot of my friends and family that live away from where we live do post updates, and I do miss seeing those, but I can log in on my computer and I can check their profiles, right? I also kind of sort of miss knowing what others are up to in real time and celebrating life events with friends that live in other parts of the world and being able to post something kind of in the moment from your phone. But then again, I wasn't really posting anyway, so that point is kind of a moot point because really I wasn't posting anything. I was just scrolling and looking at what everyone else was doing. So here's how I've handled those kind of sort of missing out things, right? I have intentional desktop check-ins, but now I set a 15-minute timer when I'm looking at other people's content. I'm intentional with what I want to accomplish during these desktop check-ins too. So I make sure that my list of social media to-dos fit into that 10-15 minute time frame. And when that timer goes off, I get off of social media. I schedule my posts. I now create all of my content off of social media before I do my 15-minute check-ins. I keep saying 10, it's 15 minutes. I type out my captions. I know what photos or videos are going to go with it. And then I copy and paste so I can schedule my content as quickly as possible. I've gone from trying to post in all the places to sharing podcasts, freebies, and other links on Pinterest and posting content in my online community. I hardly ever post on my actual business pages anymore. Before I got off social media, I did post an Instagram post kind of with the explanation of why I was removing Instagram from my phone and not posting there anymore. And there's contact information on there. So if someone finds me there, they can reach out to me via email or, through my website. So I am focused on real life connection over virtual noise. Like I said, my relationships are better. I'm more confident when I walk into a room because honestly, I have no idea what everyone else out there is doing. I'm staying in my lane and in my calling, and I am able to show up. I'm able to show up authentically, and that feels really, really good. I'm not worried about how I'm showing up, that I'm not showing up like Amy Porterfield or Jenna Kutcher or Mel Robbins, all of whom I love very much. They're brilliant women, but I'm not them, and I shouldn't want to be like them because I'm me and I like me, right? I've said this before and I'll say it again. Building relationships will help you grow faster than anything else. Relationships in the community where you live, relationships with other business owners, and relationships with your client. And I'm more consistent in communication. My offers are clearer, and that's all because my brain isn't constantly overstimulated. So if this episode struck a nerve with you, and I'm hoping that it did because, the possibility of wasting 20 years of your life should strike a nerve, right? If you're feeling burned out, disconnected, or like your phone is running your life instead of you, I want you to trust me and try taking social media off of your phone for 31 days. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to make it a big thing. Just try it, because I promise you it will bring you so much peace. If you want daily reminders and support with removing social media from your phone, I have created a screen-free challenge over at screenfreechallenge.biz. Remove social media from your phone. That's the first step. And put your email in, and I'll send you 31 days of encouragement and action steps to take that will actually help you make progress in growing your business, growing your sales, growing your leads, all the things. You'll save time. You'll have improved moods. You'll experience relationship wins. You'll have business clarity and traction, and your creativity will reappear, which was the most surprising thing about all of it, I think, because as a content creator, I feel creative, but I really wasn't, right? Like, my creativity has come back, and I am clearer on how to serve. You'll solve problems easier, and you'll notice the big differences in your life overall. I am telling you, this is the best thing I've done in a very long time for myself, for my business, and for my family. Look, I am not anti-social media. I want to be clear on that. What I am is anti-distraction, anti-burnout, and I am pro-intentional business building. So join the challenge and get back so much time, energy, and focus. The link to this challenge is in the show notes, and I really hope you'll consider joining. 20 years of your life is worth it. Now, once you join the challenge, would you please share this episode with a friend or family member that this might help? I'm cheering you on, friend. I want you to build a business and a life that you love that doesn't include wasting 20 years of your life. I'm praying for you, and I'm praying for your business. I'll talk to you next week.